I got my hand caught up in a machine for 6 minutes, and I was working by myself, so I'm literally spinning as my hand first catches, probably does maybe one roll. From there, I'm already spinning with the machine. I'm calling out for help. I'm trying to reach out for anyone to help me.
So I remember when the call came in for this particular injury because it was so devastating.
And I'm just screaming like top of my lungs. Eventually it gets to the point where I'm starting to like lose consciousness, and I just start praying to God. I'm like, God, please help me. The machine explodes.
In orthopedic surgery, we would call it a mangled extremity, basically near amputation of Mr. Gonzalez's forearm.
We're coming in.
I'm either thinking my hand's gonna be gone, but I'm more just thinking more of just life and death situation where I'm thinking I'm gonna get sucked into the tube. And the fire department got here, and I see my dad. He works with me, and I call my dad to come, and I tell him what's going on. He rushed over there. And
So when the paramedics got there, they opened him up, the sweater that he was wearing and all that, that's when I really got to see how bad it was. That's when the stuff came out. But, you know, it looked like little umbilical cords, all the extenders, what they call them. And I started crying myself, you know what I mean?
fire department's like, no, we're gonna take you to Harbor-UCLA. Like it has the best surgeons that we know.
Harbor-UCLA Hospital has been a spectacular partner for us. We get exposure to patients like Roberto, whose hand was shattered and severed. And they come to an orthopedics clinic like this to see that TPS is a small part of helping make that process better and faster and smoother for someone like Roberto. It really hits you hard. It hits you in the heart.
As a surgeon, I see the impact of TPS mostly in clinic. Surgeries actually are a fairly brief period of the patient's overall rehab. Much of the healing happens in clinic.
Hi, doctor.
Wound care and rehab and things like that.
Do you feel like you have any less motion in this hip than you do on the right side?
What we would like to do with the Toyota production system is we'd like to have a patient flow through the clinic and never stop or never wait, like smooth water in a stream or a car down an assembly line.
So everything looks very good, very stable, and should last a very long time.
Awesome.
And then anytime there's a disruption or a delay, we'd like to see that problem and attack it immediately. And this is where the flow coordinator comes in.
This one means patient is ready. Toyota, what they helped us was to identify certain areas that cause lag time. This one, doctor's in there seeing the patient. The general visit time was 3 to 4 hours before Toyota. Now it's down to about an hour and a half, even an hour.
Then making the clinic more efficient on a day-to-day basis so that we're able to see more patients overall, and then limit the wait time that someone may have when they have a problem. Instead of having to wait 3 to 6 months to come to clinic for the first time, that we can try to see them sooner.
And what TPS has done is it has driven a culture change where each member of the team has a valued voice. It's a way to really get to the front line where the people who do the work are the best to help us decide how we solve the problems.
So how is that accounted for in the flow?
We have the TPS approach in over 20 units of the hospital, and we really credit our partnership with TSSC that kicked us off in that one first clinic in ophthalmology. And when many other members of the medical center who are not in ophthalmology saw the impact that the adoption of TPS had on their operations, we suddenly had various areas of the hospital asking us, hey, we would like to try this. Ultimately, TPS does save lives.
During this process, I was at the hospital for 3 weeks to a month, and I'm going through 7 surgeries. After every surgery, my hand's like feeling like on fire again. I'm in the most excruciating pain.
He developed something called compartment syndrome, which is when there's so much swelling in the arm that we worry about the muscles starting to die from lack of oxygen.
Roberto is the perfect example of TPS here at the hospital, not only through his surgeries where we have done TPS work inside of the peri-op domain, but also because he has come through clinic. Timely care of these patients is incredibly important.
He's a good kid. And I think that's the hardest part as a parent, because you see that, and then you as a parent, you start thinking, well, why did this happen to him, you know?
It was a very long course. I believe it was at least about a year and a half worth of gradually staged surgeries. Ultimately, though, we can't argue with his results.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Just very happy that I still have my hand, and it's all thanks to these surgeons. I'm able to do a lot with my hand, where if you've seen it from the beginning, if you've seen it from the start, you wouldn't think I'd be able to do what I could do now.
Robert is an adrenaline junkie. He likes to do things. Done the downhill mountain biking, jumping off cliffs into the riverbeds, you know what I mean? But these are the things that I want him to get back into. And then I go, is he gonna be able to? Fast forwarding to now, when he told me he was gonna go bike riding again, that was a big day. Because as a parent, that's where you're like, no, he's moving forward now.